I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. And look, I'm a hunter. I own firearms. The vice president is.
We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Democrat Tim Walz questioned Republican Donald Trump's fitness for office at the outset of Tuesday's vice presidential debate, arguing that the former president is too unstable to be trusted at a time of crisis in the Middle East. His Republican opponent J.D. Vance responded by asserting that Trump had made the world more secure during his term in the office. Amid Israel's ongoing assault against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon and Iran's retaliatory missile strikes on Tuesday, the escalating Middle East conflict that began last October when the militant group Hamas attacked Israel was the debate's first topic, giving the two men a chance to outline their foreign policy credentials. Asked whether he would support a preemptive strike against Iran by Israel, Vance suggested he would defer to Israel's judgment, while Walz did not directly answer the question. Instead, Walz pivoted to criticizing Trump for nixing the Iran nuclear deal. Next, the two clashed on immigration and the US border with Mexico, at one point prompting the moderators to cut off both of their microphones as they spoke over each other. Watch here.
Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this, and he promised you, America, how easy it would be. I'll build you a big, beautiful wall, and Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and Mexico didn't pay a dime. But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator, dehumanizing people.
You've got schools that are overwhelmed. You've got hospitals that are overwhelmed. You have got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border.
We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
The most tense exchange occurred near the end of the debate when Vance, who has said he would not have voted to certify the results of the 2020 election, avoided a question about whether he would challenge this year's vote if Trump loses.
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it.
And I think there's a lot of agreement. But this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Lastly, in an exchange over the problem of gun violence in schools, the two candidates offered differing solutions but shared a moment of civility when Walz disclosed that his 17-year-old son had witnessed a shooting at a community center, which prompted Vance to voice sympathy, saying, and I quote, "I'm sorry about that, it is awful." Watch the excerpt here.
But what do we do about the schools? What do we do to protect our kids? And I think the answer is, and I say this not loving the answer, because I don't want my kids to go to school in a school that feels unsafe or where there are visible signs of security. But I unfortunately think that we have to increase security in our schools. We have to make the doors lock better. We have to make the doors stronger. We've got to make the windows stronger. And of course, we've got to increase school resource officers, because the idea that we can magically wave a wand and take guns out of the hands of bad guys, it just doesn't fit with recent experience.
Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. And look, I'm a hunter. I own firearms. The vice president is. We understand that the Second Amendment is there, but our first responsibility is to our kids to figure this out.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting, and I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's
appreciate
doing
you
okay.
saying so.
Christ have mercy. It is awful.